Dear Kismet helps you dive into the mysteries behind cardology, or the astrology and numerology of the playing cards. We answer questions from our tribe and discuss world events and celebrities, all through the lens of this magical, ancient system. Our goal? To help you align with what is written in your cards and to raise the collective consciousness of the planet. If you go to our website, itiskismet.com, and enter your birthday, you'll get to your card's one-stop shop where you will find a 15-page report on your card and much, much more. You can also go to our site to find the cosmic connections, also known as the planetary energies, between you and another person. Now is the time for cardology to become as encoded in the collective energy as astrology and numerology are. So please tell your friends about Kismet. Welcome everyone back to Dear Kismet. My name is Laura.
Hi, I'm Paula.
Everybody, I'm Candy.
Yeah, so Candy is going to give us the intro to this video because it was really her idea why we're doing this series of videos about this topic. So Candy, what was the question you had the other day?
All right. Yeah. So I feel like I'm a write-in for Dear Kismet today because I listen to you guys, Laura and Paula, talk about the cards all the time and the connections between the cards. And I think I conceptually understand the cosmic connections. I mean, I get that in a relationship, we have planets that impact us, but I do not understand those planets. So when you guys say there's a moon, what the fuck does that mean? So Laura, Paula, I'm sure you guys are the ones to help me, and I'm sure others are listening, probably have a similar question, maybe without the F word, but can you help me understand what these connections mean?
Always with the F word. Okay, so planetary energies. Yeah, Candy's asking about the cosmic connections, and those you can find if you go to our website. It is kismet.com. Punch in, go to the section that has 2 birthdays, not just one. And you will put 2 people in, so yours and like your ex-boyfriend, just in case you want to check up on that. And you'll get 2 little cards that pop up, and you'll have like Venus and Saturn, or you'll have Karma and Moon Mercury. So that's where we're starting, is kind of talking about those planetary energies, but actually the planets affect a lot of different areas of the cards. So with the card system, with cardology, we have our personality, and so that's the card and the hand that goes with it. We have the relationships and connections we have between 2 people. And we also have time. So if you want a reading, then we can look at your cards and what your cards are doing this year and how you're going to be affected by those cards. But all 3 of those areas actually have planets involved in them. So we're going to try to break down the 3 different sections and kind of figure out where the planets come into play in each of those areas. So I think that first thing I want to do actually is talk about why this one has 2 planets. So this is the only video we're going to do that's going to have 2 different planetary energies. And we grouped Moon Mercury together for a very specific reason. And Paula, will you tell us why we combined Moon and Mercury together for the cosmic connections?
Okay, so for the most part, it's because they both start with the letter M.
That's what I was thinking.
That's false.
Right? It's obvious. And Mars isn't in there because it just, I don't know. But anyway, so here's your card, and you have all these cards around you, and the very next card in your hand, well, wherever it is, right next to you, if it's the first card in your hand, it's considered the Mercury card. So, but if it's the card behind you, it's considered the Moon card. Okay, so let's talk about you and the other person.
Can I show this for a second real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, let's look.
So
Laura's holding up a chart, and let's look at a particular card.
What Paula was saying was, and we have this on our blog, this chart, but what Paula was saying was, like, if I look at the 10 of, am I looking at the 10 of diamonds? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Moon card for the 10 of diamonds is actually the 10 of hearts, and the Mercury card is the 8 of spades. So that's your spread. That's how we get all this data, is coming from these 2 guys. And so that's what Paula was talking about.
Right, right. So if you take 2 people, so think of the 10 of diamonds and the 8 of spades. One person is the 10 of diamonds, the other is the 8 of spades. So the 8 of spades is Mercury to the 10 of diamonds. So that person will have a Mercury feel about them, and we'll go into that in a minute. But the 8 of spades, that 10 of diamonds person, is the moon to them. So they're going to have moon characteristics. And when you know somebody whose card is right next to you, all of those energies are combining and they're mixed, and it's kind of hard to pull them apart, but we've kind of distilled them down to a single energy that's very recognizable.
Yeah, and I kind
So,
of, oh, go ahead, Candy.
so is it because with Moon Mercury, those two cards always sit so close to each other and they have the opposite effects on one another when you're looking at two,
Yes, yes.
that's why we have, I'm learning.
Well, and I also want to say it's a little confusing because um, the energies kind of go, since we're mirroring each other all the time, the energies go both ways. So even though one card is moon to the other card, the moon vibration is there between you. It's just that one person might feel it a little more strongly than the other, but it's not like the one person's not going to feel it at all just because they're not the moon person.
So another aspect of that we've discovered since then when we were working on the connections is if so the Robert Camp tradition is kind of like if somebody is your Saturn card, they are going to feel like Saturn to you, but you might not feel that way to them. And we just found that's not true. That it's a reverberating energy, and your Saturn card is going to feel like you are their Saturn card. So I think it's because the cards go in reverse as well as forward. And I don't know why we focus on one direction more than another, but yeah, and from that perspective, it's definitely you're both going to be moon to each other and you're both going to be Mercury to each other.
The reason that this is different for these two is because moon is the only card on the other side of the sun card. So like if you look at your hand of the 10 of diamonds, so if we go back to this guy, this little guy right here, the moon card is to the right, and then you go, so it's moon, sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and you keep going. So the sun is sort of, the moon is right before the sun. So there are no more cards this direction. That's why you don't need to do this with Venus or Saturn. It's only the moon card that is behind the sun. And that's why we combine the two right on either side because
Right.
yeah.
Eureka, drop in knowledge. This makes sense.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I think, well, let's talk about what it feels like for a Moon Mercury connection.
Okay, so I'll break it down. The Mercury connection is all about communication. And so you're going to feel understood and like you like to think together and communicate. Mercury is also about being capricious and impulsive and, oh, let's go get some ice cream and let's da 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 da. And it's kind of like, it's kind of quick and it can be kind of brief, meaning you feel like you can sort of fit it in anywhere. Like if you call somebody on the phone who is your Mercury card, you know you can get off the phone with them really quick. Mercury energy. And whereas moon energy is more about feeling safe and secure and understood, and it's more of an emotional vibration. So you can see how, you know, when you're having a conversation about somebody, there's always this emotion present. The emotion is like the atmosphere around it. What kind of communication are you having? So, you know, and then the communication is immediately going to create all kinds of emotional feelings. So there's a constant feedback loop between those. And that's why we just had to put those together because it's really hard to separate them.
And I also want to say that for those astrology people out there, if you've studied astrology, the vibrations of these planets are pretty similar to to a regular like astrology description of the moon and a regular astrology description of Mercury. If you already know that, then you'll understand this. Yeah. So that is the cosmic connections. Those are the vibrations between the two people. If you have that moon Mercury combination, that's what you'll feel. Then the other thing, I'm going to bring this chart back real quick. So these are all in rows and columns, as you can see, all the cards. And so depending on where your card is, so now we're going to jump over to the personality thing. So these planets across the bottom, none of these planets is a moon planet. I have no idea why, but maybe Paula can tell us in a minute. But this column over here is Mercury. And then this row up here is Mercury. So all of those cards in that row and column will have a Mercury aspect to them. Pick one that is two different things. So we're going to pick the King of Hearts. It is Mars here and Mercury. In addition to the card's energy, the King of Hearts itself, its hand, you also have influences of the row you're in and the column that you're in. So the King of Hearts is a Mars-Mercury combo. So what does that tell us? Or let's start with just Mercury. In the Mercury row, we have the Ace of Spades, the Three of Diamonds, the 5 of clubs, the 10 of spades, the queen of clubs, the ace of clubs, and the 3 of hearts. So if you don't know your card, jump over to our website, it is kismet.com, and look up your card. And if you're one of those, you're in the Mercury row. The Mercury column is the 3 of hearts, the 7 of hearts, the king of hearts, 6 of diamonds, so Candy, that's you, queen of diamonds, queen of spades, and 4 of hearts. People in the Mercury row and column, what does Mercury give them?
Okay, when you take it into the chart, there's a slightly different emphasis there, and it is around truth. It's also around communication and ideas and all those other things we talked about. There can be a capricious, impulsive aspect. And there's also a very mental aspect. So everybody, especially in the horizontal Mercury line, is very, they love to learn, they love to study, they love the whole realm of the mind. And then I've noticed the vertical Mercury line, they tend to be more aligned with the importance of truth. And they're all about, they're purposeful in their communication according to their horizontal planet. Does that, the horizontal line?
Yeah, first, we're going to talk about a couple of the cards in the oh my God, vertical Mercury thing. I'm getting all these mixed up. First, let's talk about, well, the King of Hearts, because we mentioned that already. And we'll talk about the 6 of diamonds because Candy is the 6 of diamonds. So the King of Hearts, again, is vertical Mercury, horizontal Mars. So how is that different than, let's say, the 6 of diamonds, which would be vertical Mercury, horizontal Jupiter?
Okay, so the King of Hearts, that Mercury energy is augmented by Mars, is one way to say it. My brother is the King of Hearts, and when I think of his style of communication, he is literally a director. He's also a professor, and the purpose of his communication is for knowledge. It's for Mars, which is action. There's a kind of passion behind it. He gets really, really angry sometimes. And that's that Mars passion. He's really impassioned, but he's also really pragmatic. So those are all Mars expressions of the Mercury communication. So, okay, if we go down one line, still in the Mercury vertical column, we have Candy's card, the 6 of diamonds. So she is also about truth and communication, but Jupiter is about how can we make it bigger? How can we imagine the possibilities? How can we make this a win-win for everybody? How can we get everyone to participate? And so it's more about this big enterprise with a vision. So Mars is task, Jupiter is vision.
Yeah.
And that's an example. I want to go down one more to sort of just kind of help break it down. So the Queen of Diamonds is the next one down in Saturn. And she's a really big influence for me because I'm a Leo diamond female. If you're a Leo diamond female, this Queen of Diamonds is a big deal for you. So the Saturn emphasis is more about being a troubleshooter and catching you on your shit, calling you on your shit. And so the role of the Queen of Diamonds is to really, with discernment, go in there and say what's really true. So they can, when they're young, they're going to be really sharp-tongued, but they have a hell of a path, which means they're going to get totally humbled by how difficult their path is. And then, but they're still going to have this discernment. And so they make really good counselors. I just ran into my favorite therapist at Walmart yesterday, who's a Queen of Diamonds. She's awesome. And she's been through hell. And she is so tender-hearted in her ability to speak the truth.
Yeah, so this part that we're talking about right now is a little bit complicated for you to kind of figure it out. I mean, I'll put the link to the blog post below so you can look at the image and find your card and then see the intersection of the 2 planets. And then eventually we'll probably write a blog post where you can kind of analyze that yourself. But we're going to jump into something else that you are going to be able to look at yourself a little bit more, which is your hand. So the hand, your card was dealt. So all that stuff on the row I was showing you and how those kind of like are all lined up. That's your hand. You can go to our website. It is kismet.com. You can enter your birthday and then scroll down and look at the information about your kit, because you'll be able to analyze your hand in that kit. And you'll find all the different cards that are in your hand. And we teach you how to kind of pull the pieces together that you need to kind of look at what it means to be your card, but inclusive of all the cards in your hand. And eventually we're going to be doing courses. So just make sure you're on our email list so that when you really want to dive into this stuff, you can sign up for a course. So Paula, tell us about the Moon card and the Mercury card in someone's hand. So what does it mean How does that influence
Okay.
them as people?
Okay, so when you look at your moon card, that is going to tell you about your emotional launch pad as a child. How did you get set up? What were the conditions of your childhood that kind of are going to set you up, especially for your relationship style? And it will also tell you what your comfort zone is and what makes you feel safe. So my moon card, for example, is the Seven of Hearts, which makes me extremely emotionally sensitive, but it all,
We just did that video with Princess Di. So if you haven't seen the Princess Di video, you'll learn more about the Seven of Hearts in there. So I'm laughing because Paula, that's a lot to deal with.
thank you. I was like, is she laughing at me? But because I'm so
No.
sensitive.
Yeah, it's a like, but that's a lot. Yeah.
It is. And that Seven of Hearts also says that one of my emotional lessons over and over again is forgiveness, and that my comfort zone is really going to be about non-attachment. So that really fits for me. The Mercury card is, for me, it's the Five of Spades. Sorry to use myself as an example here, but the very first card is more like what you present to the world. The moon is hidden. People that are not very close to you won't know those things about you, but the Mercury card is like the face, it's your voice, it's your presentation, your style of speaking, your style of thinking, what you like to think about. So my Mercury card is the Five of Spades, which is goes in all directions at once. And I notice on these videos, every time I'm done talking and the camera goes back to you guys, all of a sudden there's calm, motionless presence. And you guys are just communicating something, and you're communicating with your eyes. And when it's back to me, it's like, so it's like that five energy is like really animated. I also have ADD. And when I figured out that, oh, I also have maybe that's just the Five of Spades in my hand. So
Right.
causation, it doesn't really matter, but it really helped me let myself off the hook and going, oh yeah, that's why I feel like I can't sequence things in my mind because they're just all over the map. So that's kind of an example of how these little cars in your train, what are they carrying and what's their purpose in your big choo-choo.
Yeah. Let's just look at Candy's real quick, just for another example. So Candy is the Six of Diamonds, her moon or her Mercury card, Four of Spades, right? And then her moon card, Eight of Clubs. So what is the Eight of Clubs doing for Candy in her moon position?
Okay, this is true more often than not for Six of Diamonds, but they come from households that have a rigid belief system. There's something very fixed about it. It's maybe focused on the mind because the Eight of Clubs is a fixed card. And my screensaver is going across, and there's a picture of my daughter who's the Eight of Clubs. This is just so weird. Everything's so connected. So, and it can also mean that being fixed or stubborn herself can be a comfort zone. Maybe if I just sit down and I'm not going to move, then I feel emotionally safe. And there are all different expressions of that. Sometimes that's really important to be that way and to do that, and other times it's like, oh, am I just trying to feel safe here, or am I actually looking for the truth? Because that's like the home base of the Eight of Clubs too, is truth, consciousness, the ultimate truth. It's also going to give her an energy of wanting to argue on behalf of others. She's going to be an advocate for the truth, because it all comes down to that. That's the most important thing. The Mercury, well, let me just ask for your feedback. You got a grin on your face, so I don't know if the camera got stuck with you grinning or if that fit.
Well, I was just sitting still, like in my stubbornness of the truth that you are spewing my way. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I've worked hard not to be as stubborn as I was when I was younger, but I never really thought of it being a safety issue. But as I kind of think about when I was my most stubborn, it absolutely was out of safety, out of trying to, this is the only thing I can control. So this is the thing I'm going to try to control the most. And I'm going to be very stubborn about it and try to protect it and myself. And I've always been anybody that I felt was being picked on.
Yeah. That stubbornness is how she got the nickname Corporate Candy, I think, at her corporate job. We'll be visiting that later, I'm sure.
Talking corporate candy.
Okay, so what is the Mercury Four of Spades giving her?
Okay, the Four of Spades is about structure, security, boundaries. And that is so true of her communication style. It calms me down, makes me feel sane. It's like a containment field where we're not going to go dancing off in the other directions. We're going to talk about this and until we're done talking about it. And then we can move on.
Yeah. So
And it's
true.
also the card of the psychic intuitive, which is something that Six of
Ah.
Diamonds usually develop over time. And then they go, oh, like I totally didn't even realize I was psychic, but I've been psychic my whole life.
Yeah, Candy has that gift. Totally.
So strange to hear people talk about you so accurately.
Yeah. So
Which is why I know
Yeah.
nothing about the cards, but I love the cards.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to learn about your hand, you can get that kit. You can also book readings with Paula or Paula, and get her to look at the breakdown of your hand. Okay. So we have one more thing that we need to talk about, and that is the time period of Mercury. So we do not have a moon time period because, as Paula mentioned earlier, moon is before you're born, sort of like, not before you're born, but it's like your hidden self. It's not from the sun forward. This is the part you're showing to the world. So the moon is hidden behind you. So the time periods, there are 7 52-day time periods throughout the year. And then we also have 5 cards that kind of overlay the entire year. So the first 52 days after your birthday every year is your Mercury time period. And there's 2 cards stacked right on top of each other in that Mercury period every year. The Mercury period represent.
So the Mercury card is going to be answering the question, what are you going to be thinking about all year? What's going to occupy your mind? Kind of even when you're not thinking about it consciously, it's just kind of like on the back burner, bubbling all year. During that time period, that first 52 days, it will be very active. And it will also indicate like your thinking style and also maybe your planning style. There's a lot of planning that happens during the Mercury period, and those cards help you understand what it is that you're planning.
So just to blow your minds, we're not going to get into this too much, but you can actually look at the entire hand of that card in the Mercury period for more information. Then this is all stuff we would give you in a reading. So that's another place where Mercury is affecting your vibration and what you're dealing with. Okay, so that wraps up this episode of Dear Kismet. Keep your eyes peeled for more, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this video if you found it interesting. Go on our website, look up your birthday, look up your cosmic connections, and we will see you next time. All the links are below this video. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Dear Kismet. We would love it if you would subscribe and share. Go to our website, itiskismet.com, to learn more about the Cardology conference in Vegas in October, to look up your card and cosmic connections, and to ask Dear Kismet a question.